Welcome to the Business Health and Mindset Podcast. I'm Kate Geronimo. I'm a natural health and mindset practitioner, transforming entrepreneurs into unstoppable forces by supercharging their health and mindset. Health and mindset are intricately woven together and form the vital, secret weapon you need to cultivate to succeed in business. Thank you for listening. Let's dive into this episode. Hello and welcome to the Business Health and Mindset Podcast. I'm Kate Geronimo. Today we are looking at how to overcome stress with herbal medicine. There's a plethora of remedies out there, and for many years I have been saying to clients, patients, friends, etc., beware of the health food store, beware of friends, and beware of the online space, because there's an expert in every corner. What I mean by that is that herbal medicines are excellent at helping your health. They can be dangerous. They do have drug interactions, some of them, and they can potentially cause some harm if somebody is not trained correctly in herbal medicine, how they are used effectively, and how they can help or harm your health. So it really is vitally important that people pay attention and really go to an expert for help when using herbal medicines. Now, there is a number out there that are okay to use and okay to use that your friends use. Yet if you're using them, or if you're contemplating using herbal medicine to help yourself go through times of stress or to help with some illness, I strongly encourage you, go and speak to your doctor. Go and speak to a health practitioner, a herbalist, somebody who is well-versed in what herbal medicines can do, how they help, how they do harm, the drug interactions, and if you are on pharmaceutical medication, then you absolutely must speak with your doctor beforehand. Now, I do encourage people to either print some information out that they may have found online, or they've done some research themselves, or someone's told them about a particular remedy to use. Take some information with you to your doctor and ask them, is this going to be okay for me to use? The last thing I want to see is people using things willy-nilly and then have a health issue because of it. Herbal medicine is beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. And it can be gentle. It can be healing. It can be so therapeutic. And if used in conjunction with pharmaceutical medication, then you can have some issue. You seriously can. Now, if you're stressed and you're feeling the effects of stress and it's a bit overwhelming, etc., then there are things that you do need to do. Now, I always go back to, what are your beliefs? What are your behaviours? What is your thinking? What do you think about? And are you self-aware or not? Because your mindset has so much to do with your health, but also with stress. Yeah, it does. Because if you are thinking a certain way, if you're thinking that life is tough, life is difficult, you can't cope with the stress, you can't cope with what people are doing, they're doing this to you, they're doing this, they're doing that, you've got too much work to do, you've not got enough time, whatever the thinking is, and there's no criticism here, but whatever your thinking is, whatever your beliefs are, they're going to drive further the effects of stress into the negative. And this is where, over time, disease processes can be established. Herbal medicine is beautiful. I said that already. It is beautiful. It is gentle. It is healing. Yet, caution must be applied to it. So today I was going to, speak about a few herbal medicines that are used. And with stress, there's so much that plays into this. Are you doing enough exercise to get rid of the pent-up energy within your body? Now, when we talk about pent-up energy, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling as though you're not coping that well. If you're not exercising to have an outlet, to release some of that, to be able to get yourself back to a centered base, then you do, again, over time, and it can be relatively short, you form energy blockages within the body. And this can affect your health. It can affect organ function. So what do you do about this? And the other thing, of course, sleep. Sleep. If you're not sleeping well, you end up with energy blockages. Your thinking processes can be really severely clouded. You end up with brain fog in the day, feeling like there's a big sheet over your eyes that you can't really see through properly. I know my vision was affected, and things looked ever so just slightly cloudy when I was really stressed. It was like I can't see straight. And I used to sometimes say that. I can't see properly, I can't see straight, I can't see my way out of this. Well, it affects you. Whatever phrases you use like that, I can't see my way out of this, or I can't see clearly, or whatever you use for yourself, stop for a moment and think about what you do say, because words have power. Words have enormous power over your health, over your life, either positively or negatively. And I'll talk about affirmations in another episode. So getting back to herbs, they can be very helpful, yet like anything, you've got to treat the cause. So what is the cause of your stress? This is where I encourage you to go grab a notebook and just start writing whatever comes to mind. What is the cause of your stress? And what do you believe about that? What are the stories you tell yourself about your stress? Some fantastic herbs that you can use during periods of stress are Hypericum perforatum. That's the botanical name, but its common name is St. John's wort. It is a fabulous herb and has been used in some clinical trials for mild depression, and it's had some fantastic results. I've personally used it myself while I have been going through some really stressful periods, and it has been beneficial in it's literally like taking the heaviness off the cloud that's hanging above you. It's literally like lifting a veil so that you can process things more effectively, so that you can see things more clearly, so that you're not clouded by your own anxieties or fears or the effects of the stress, the physical symptomatic effects. It can help you to sleep better as well. And it is a great herb to use. You can take it in a tincture, in liquid form. You can get it in a leaf form so that you can use it in teas. You can take tablets or capsules. All are great, yet absolutely must not be used if you are on certain medications, and especially antidepressants. And the reason is that it can further escalate the effect of your medication that you're on. And in that case, you're getting way too much. So you actually want to be very, very careful with what you're doing. If you're not on any medication at all and you're feeling the effects of stress, feeling like you can't sleep well, your mind goes around and around and around in circles, you're repeating the same story of what happened to yourself. You're reliving that constantly. You don't really know which decision to make, and you're feeling some depression-like symptoms. This can be very helpful. Yet, I do urge you to speak to a health or medical practitioner about this, because there could be more going on that you do need to address. Another herb that is a really lovely herb, it's an Ayurvedic herb used in what we call Ayurvedic medicine, but traditionally known as Indian medicine, and that's ashwagandha. And the botanical name of that is Withania somnifera. Now, Withania is a really lovely herb. I've taken that many times myself in the past. The main caution with this herb is that you must not use it if you've got any thyroid condition. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease some years ago and didn't realise myself. I'm a practitioner, right? I didn't realise until I looked into it more carefully that ashwagandha is actually contraindicated with any thyroid condition, and Graves' disease can potentially be a nasty and fatal autoimmune disease. It's really good though. It's a great nervous system tonic, and it helps to tonify and strengthen the nervous system. Like anything though, if you do have any health conditions or you're on any medication, then you really need to speak to a medical or health practitioner about taking this herbal medicine, because these can be drugs in their own way. Now, if you take too much of anything, and unfortunately in Western society we tend to have this underlying subconscious thinking that more is best. If I take more, I'll get a better effect. I'll just pop a bit more. And that can actually have some nasty effects. But ashwagandha is a really good herbal medicine for stress. It has other uses as well. I'm not going into that at the moment though. Bacopa monnieri, also known as Brahmi, that used to be marketed here in Australia about 25 years ago as the student study herb. And the reason for that is that it is known to enhance cognitive abilities and performance, etc. Now, this is a brain tonic, and essentially, and some studies have shown, they've been clinical studies, etc., but they have shown that cognitive ability, so memory, is enhanced by increasing retention, increasing the learning ability, so you retain and recall information. When I was studying 27 years ago, I used to always get onto a course of this about 3 weeks before my exams. And I was always blown away when I got into the exam, because every single question I read, I'd think to myself, I know the answer to that, I know the answer to that, yeah, know that one. And I could just sit there and write away. And all of the relevant information, the facts and so on, would all come out. And I really put that down to, like, during, exams are stressful, and during the exams and the lead up to it, there was so much to remember, so much to understand, so much to be able to regurgitate. And this helped dramatically. Now, during periods of stress, I have used this myself as well. Because during periods of stress, what happens? Very often you become forgetful. You can't remember things. And it's very easy, like I walked into another room, what did I come here for? Now, most of us can do that when we're tired. We can do that every other day. Not a major deal. But during periods of stress, that sort of a thing can become quite heightened. And just not being able to sometimes think things through carefully, not being able to process information in the brain at fast enough rate. You may find yourself that you get a little overwhelmed by things. Whereas ordinarily, you get some bad news, And there's a lot of repercussions and things that come because of that bad news, and you have to deal with it. You've got to think through processes. You've got to deal with all these different events and people and tasks that you need to do. It's very hard to do that when you're really stressed. It's hard to remember everything. And, sleep, of course, gets affected as well. So Bacopa monnieri is a beautiful herb. Bacopa monnieri it is, also known as Brahmi. Lovely herb. It's relatively safe to use, but again, as with every herb, I put a caution on it and remind people, speak to your doctor about this first. The other three that I find have used a lot that I've used a lot in clinic and recommended to others is things that help with stress, and they also help with sleep. And that's passion flower, chamomile and lavender. They're often used in herbal teas. You can get them in tinctures, you can get them in tablet or capsule format. These three herbs all help to soothe and calm the nervous system. And during periods of stress, the nervous system gets really heightened, and this is the worst time when you're stressed, to change any habit, to change your thinking, to change behaviours, to commit to something new. Because when you do change behaviours and thinking, etc., when you start to do anything new, and if you are quite stressed, the brain is going to use up so much more energy trying to create new neurons, create new neural pathways, and information kind of gets misfired. So it creates even more stress, can create a lot of tiredness, because in laying down all those new neural pathways, a huge amount of energy is used. And the subconscious mind does not want you to do that. It's all about conserving energy to keep life going, by keeping your breathing going, by keeping your digestion moving, by keeping cell degeneration and regeneration occur, to remove toxins from the body, to keep your heart pumping, to keep the blood moving around the body, to keep you breathing, all these sorts of things. So it's really so vitally important that you don't try doing anything too big, changing anything's too much when you're stressed. Lots of people, and this is interesting, a lot of people when they're stressed want to change their partner. Have you ever heard that? I've seen this a lot too, where in marriages and where say the woman has got breast cancer and the partner just can't cop it, can't deal with it. They get stressed. So what do? They see something defective about their partner. They're not meeting their needs. They're no longer happy. They're stressed. And so they immediately turn and go, I need out of this. I need something else. And they walk away. And this is a really, really, really sad thing that happens. Never make a decision, a major decision about your life or anyone else in your life while you're stressed. Go get onto some good herbs. Help yourself to relax. Help yourself to deal with this. Having a beer, having some alcohol is not the answer. And I know of so many people who drink way too much because it calms them. And they'll laugh about, it's 1 o'clock. I've got to go and have a drink. Well, let's meet for a drink after work. You can have a drink, just don't make it alcohol, because that actually is going to make your stress worse. You're better off, go somewhere and have a cup of chamomile tea. Seriously, you're much better off to do that, because it's going to soothe and help your nervous system to deal with the stress. It's going to help it to stop, reacting. We have all these automatic reactions and responses that we all go to when we're stressed. The only way that you're going to get through really stressful times are by doing the things that I've been suggesting on this podcast, by looking after your health and get onto some good herbs. Now, there are a plethora of other great herbs, and you may be thinking to yourself, oh, but Kate, you haven't talked about this or that. No, I've just listed a few that are really good in helping stress, in helping you overcome it, in helping you just deal with it, get through the really tough, pointy end of it so that you can cope, so that you can process, so that you can move through it the best way. Now, a quick word on a herb that is often used for sleep, and that is valerian. Now, you often see valerian used in herbal preparations, particularly the tablet and capsule form. And for some individuals, it's a great herb. It's really, really good. In the dried root format, if ever you see it, it looks a bit like kitty litter, and it stinks, absolutely stinks like wet, sweaty football socks. It really has a pungent, horrible odour. Valerian, though, I put a little caution on that, and I mention it because whilst it's good for stress and helping you to sleep better, there's roughly 7 to 12% of the population that get ramped up by it. And I'm one of those. It's a crazy thing. I can take it for one night, take a tablet, sleep okay. But if I take it again the next night, I can be awake for hours. And it can have a stimulatory effect in some individuals. So if you have ever noticed that, you could be one of those people that just get stimulated by it. And it would be better to take a preparation that doesn't contain valerian. Sleep is vitally important for stress. Vitally important. So look at some good herbal medicines. Go talk to your health practitioner. Talk to your doctor. And remember that any medication you are on, it can potentially have a drug interaction with a herbal medicine. We call them herbal medicine for a reason, because they do act as medicines in the body. Even a simple tea can have some kind of interaction in your body with other drugs that you're taking. So you do need to be careful. Just be careful of all the experts out there. And just because your best buddy has a fantastic result with some herbal medicine, it does not mean that you will. I wish you well. I hope that this has been helpful for you today. If you do have any comments or queries, then I'd love to hear from them. Feel free to send me a message. Give me a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are, and let me know what herbs you've tried that you have found have been really effective in helping you to manage stress and to overcome it. I wish you a fabulous day. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening today. I'm Kate, and I appreciate you. Have an awesome day.